Hello friends, welcome to Pro Trading Zone. So today's day was jam-packed action and chart patterns were incredibly good today. Chart pattern worked as it should have worked. It made a hell lot of sense if you know what are the pivot points that we took yesterday itself. I have posted these pivot points yesterday itself in my long video. I've posted my profit and when I took the trade, what was my thought process, why I exited my trade before, half exited my position and let other half run and made a good profit out of it. We made a good profit of 0.6% to 0.8% we would have made, and it would have been really easy for us to tackle today. Even though it would have been a directional trade today, it would have been really profitable. But we today took a non-directional trade, that is a short straddle and short strangle. I will show the shorts that I post live during the trades that I take in the live market, and I post it on my YouTube channel. Right now, what I'm going to show you is how I considered yesterday's pivot point for taking trades today. Pivot points are explained in yesterday's video itself. You can check it out, and I will explain how I used it to take a trade today. We will do some analysis of our charts right now, and then we will move how Bank Nifty moved today. So the market opened slightly up than yesterday. Then it went up approximately 35,790. Then it came along to 35,420. So it was approximately 500 point move. If you would have been a buyer or a seller, you would had a tough time over here to take a trade. There would be some flukes that make you money, but if you want to make money just by assumption or making some guesses, you are most welcome, but the probability of you making a loss is very heavy. So in Pro Trading Zone, we focus on the process, how to make money even though it is a small amount of consistent money and negligible to no loss in counterpart of it. So how to avoid loss, how I avoided a trade where I thought could be bad for me, how I didn't enter my market again. Even though I made a good profit and found good setup, I didn't enter market again because we don't want to be greedy. We want to be consistent and we want to be in less of a loss days for us. So today I'm going to explain how I took a trade, and I'm going to show you the live videos that I have posted during the live market sessions. So you could see this is a 15 minutes chart, and it would not make much sense of the chart patterns that I'm talking about right now. But once we go to a smaller time frame, you will understand that it makes a lot of sense to look into different time frames so that you can understand how market is exactly working and what market is trying to tell you. Market is the ultimate lord of everything, what actions you take over here. Every indicator, every other pivot points you draw works works only because market makes it work. If there are any points where you see that it doesn't make sense to you, comments in the comment section. I will definitely answer your queries and I will make sure that you will understand it. Okay, so let's go to a smaller time frame, but just an assumption here. It formed a pendant pattern over here. If you could have just drawn two lines over here on the wicks, you would have found a pendant pattern and it worked really beautifully. Right now we can see that market is making a symmetrical triangle right now at 11:45. We have drawn a symmetrical triangle or called as a pendant. Generally it is preceded with a big move on either upside or downside, but we will consider the directional trade only after 35,687 on upside and 35,481 on the downside. That is, if it moves out of this zone, we are going to exit one of our legs of our straddle and strangle. If market goes up, we will remove our short call. If market goes down sharply, we are going to remove our short put in our straddle and strangle. Even though it showed a false pattern over here by going down and jumping up again, it could have created nuisance for you, but once it took a pivot point, crossed our pivot point, you can see our pivot point worked extremely good. Just a difference of not more than 3 to 4 points, it took a big plunge downside. So you would have taken trade over here for a re-entry by taking a retracement trade, that is when market goes down, comes again up, then you can take your trade on the downside. So this could have been one of the best and the perfect trade to enter, and our pivot points helped. And as I was doing my live analysis, I told this is a pivot point, it could go either up or down. So once it showed me that it was going down and towards here, I just exited my trade as soon as possible when it went out of the pendant.
Have exited our short position in put side in both the directions, in both the trades, that is short put is removed, and we have continuing with our short call in short straddle and short strangle.
So you saw that we exited our trade and there was a glorious downfall over here. Then we booked our profit.
Exit our short strangle position and exit all trades in short strangle position. We are going to book our profit in short strangle, that is 69,875, at that is 0.59% profit on our portfolio. We are going to exit our straddle position with a profit of 0.6%, that is 86,625 rupees. We are exiting all our position and booking our profit.
Then we booked our profit and we stayed out of the market. Even though it went up, we were not bothered because we made our profit. We took our trade properly. It was a very short time that we spent in the market and we nailed it. And just to give you more assumptions how I took that trade, we are going to a smaller time frame. You can see in the solar time frame, it is more clear for us how the market is moving. So multiple time frame analysis is also very important. So this pendant was happening and I took a trade around here that market would be going on the sideways. Once it crossed it, then it started going down. I will show you what trade I took and which candle I took on.
Market came steeply from 35,800 to 35,450 and took a reversal, and now it is going sideways. So right now we consider 35,800 as an important pivot point and 35,572 as an important pivot point, as VWAP is also following the path of horizontal path of 35,575, and important pivot point below that is 35,481, and even below that is 35,300. We want market to be working as it wants, but we need to keep ourselves safe in the direction it moves. So we are gonna take a non-directional trade right now. In the strategy right now, that is non-directional strategy of short strangle for intraday at 34,500 and 36,600. Both are approximately around 200 points or premium, considering that the distance is at least 1000 points away from the spot, and we are making a profit of 10,125 rupees right now, or 0.07% on it. Second strategy that we have put in place is intraday short straddle. It is at the ATM at the money, that is 35,600, and we are looking at loss of 39,125 in call and put both. So right now we are on the break even and we will see how it works out. I will be posting the adjustments or updates in my next parts.
In problem, but if you are a non-directional trader, both the sides are your profit trade. Just you need to understand and take confirmation from market that is it doing right with you. So if market would have gone down and come up over here, you wouldn't have cut your position already because it hasn't closed its candle properly on the downside. It could have just gone up and you would have made loss in directional trade, but in non-directional format you would have just sat, took a confirmation that it is actually going out of the zone, and once it is out of the zone you would have cut your loss side and let your profit side run. So this is what exactly happened over here. I cut my loss side, that is short put. I had cut it and then let my profit run. We made a good profit of 0.6% in short straddle and 0.6% in short strangle, and later we exited. Now we will be focusing on how not to take a trade in the market when market is non-directional, how not to take a directional trade in non-directional market, not to take a trade. So once it came along over here, I saw another opportunity to sell a short and short straddle and strangle, but I avoided the temptation to avoid the greed. If market is rewarding you properly, you take that reward and you get out of the market. You do not come and play with it in a bad faith. When I would have entered over here, I would have made good profit, but wanted to avoid greed, so I just exited and didn't do anything. So if I would have taken trade over here, my important pivot zones would be from 35,578 to 35,299, but I avoided it and it paid me good. So if you would consider the market pattern, one pattern that worked wonders for 2 weeks right now, or in this week 3 times, that is W pattern and M pattern. Today it again formed a crooked W pattern and it just got blasted to the upper side. You could see this was a very dicey pattern where you should have taken trade or not. If you are following my zone pattern, you would know that I wouldn't have taken any trade over here. Once it would have crossed this, I would have taken a trade from here till here. That is from 35,450 to 35,078. That would be my first profit booking spot, and next would have been 35,687. You could see how exactly our pivot points were working. It was marvelous today. So I would have taken trade over here and could have made a good hefty profit of approximately 200 points. Straightforward 200 points without interruption, without any worries. If you could have followed this W pattern, crooked W pattern. This was something we told before also, and we made a good point that we make a good profit over there. Or if you would have been in non-directional trade, I would have just exited over here because it was making W pattern. So we are looking at the patterns that helped us to take a directional trade or would have made us a huge amount of money without worries while taking a trade in only directional format. So you could see in this format there was a W pattern forming over here. Market came down, took a reversal up and again came down. But as the first sign it would have been going up, we would have taken a trade over here because our important pivot point just got breached and it was backed with heavy volumes over here. Volume is very important for us while taking this trade. So it came down with a small volume, but it was going up with very heavy volumes. So this would have been trigger for us and it was approximately 1000 point move that was from here, that is 35,600 till 35,000 36,270. So it was approximately 800 point move straight forward and still it respected our pivot points even though it went away 800 points, and at the end of the day it was approximately 1000 points move that made in one trading session from bottom to top because we were able to see a W pattern over there. W pattern and M pattern are very strong patterns while considering chart pattern analysis. So second one is the M pattern. So on 24th, market went up, it came down and again went up. It took a rejection over here just above the dead high. this would have been really bad for the traders who went long and just waited that market will take a resistance and go up. So once it came down over here, the M pattern was forming over here, we would have taken our trade over here in this pivot point, because this M pattern didn't form totally. But if you would have considered this trading pattern for the M, as it took a strong downside over here, but there was not much volume here, so I wouldn't have taken directional trade over here. I would have let it come down here, then I would have taken a retracement trade. I would have taken a trade up to here, that could have given me a leanway of 35,800 to 35,578. That is 225 points straight forward profit in one trading session itself, without much worries. I would have exited and wouldn't have traded over here, because I do not know how it market would be moving. So even though you consider a reverse trade or reversal trade, it took a rejection over here and it just went up and it traded in our zone. The biggest candles that happened was in the pivot points that we drew. So pivot points are very important to take a trade. So today itself market came down, it formed a crooked W. It wasn't a very clean W, but it formed a crooked W over here. Once it went up straightforward over here, you would have made approximately 400 points of profit, bottom to up approximately 400 points of profit. But we would have entered here and we would have made approximately 250 points, because we wanted confirmation. When you wait for confirmation, you show patience to the market rewards you brilliantly. It is okay that if your trade is missed, but it is bad to take a trade in a very hazy fashion. So once I would have crossed over here, I would have taken a trade to the upper direction. I will show you one of this pattern that we have taken trade on and we recognized it. I will show you this pattern, how we recognized it.
So we believed that market would have been on sideways today. Even though it is running between 200 points, it is okay with us. Here you can see market came from top, created a bottom over here, then it created kind of a crooked W. Now it is at least half the pattern of a W. Here it could be a large upside from here up to the day's high, or you can just wait for price action, because there are strong pivot points over here at 35,639 and 35,807. Still you can take a long trade, but it's a risky trade.
Move, which is useful for you to exit your trade in non-directional format or take a trade in a directional format. So if you liked our analysis, please subscribe, comment, like, share with your friends. If you have any query, comment over there. I will like to give you answers regarding it. And if you have any suggestion, please tell me in the comment box. So see you tomorrow. See you on in the morning of Monday, and see you on the live trading sessions. And if you like to follow my shorts, please subscribe. I put in live trades and you can make a view out of it, what my thought processes are. Please do your own research before taking your trade. Okay, thank you.